What's happening, y'all? Once again, it's your boy, the dude, Intergalactic Brew, coming at you with another video, right? Okay, so this is what it is. I just got finished watching the UFC 126 weigh-ins, right? Okay, now I was watching the Anderson Silva Vitor Belfort weigh-in, and trust me, dude, that was probably one of the best, probably the best stare down I've ever seen in MMA. Bottom line, like, there is some real personal turmoil between these two, because the way those two were talking and babbling at each other, this goes far beyond the middleweight title. Trust me. Okay, but before I get to that aspect, let me say something about Anderson Silva, okay? First of all, by him doing what he's doing, he has proven my point exactly. Y'all are seeing the real Anderson Silva. That is the real Anderson. That's the Anderson Silva that's been concealed and locked inside of him for a long time. See, this is what happens when you have all these accolades. You start to get a little thing, what we like to call arrogant. And that's what Anderson Silva has gotten. You cannot tell me lately, based on his performances, based on his demeanor in press conferences, and just his mannerisms, you can't tell me that this man's head has gotten too big for his boxing helmet or whatever, or his head ain't got big enough to where he can't even walk inside the octagon, because it has. You know, sure, he probably might be a cool guy, you know, outside of the UFC, but inside the UFC, Anderson tries to act a little bit too hard, okay? And it's not cool at all. And you're supposed to have, this is what I don't understand. See, I watch all these UFC countdown shows and stuff, and I hear Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg and everybody talk about how humble this guy is and how he's a great representation of the sport. Well, from my understanding, a great representative of the sport wouldn't try to wear a mask. I mean, wouldn't even do something that was immature. He's supposed to be a representative of the sport, but this man is stooping to so many levels that are so uncharacteristic of him. Like, why would you bring a mask to a weigh-in, dude? Just because Vitor was kind of telling the truth about you, pretty much exposing you. Yeah, you know, that would get me too, if people were noticing how I was really acting. But Vitor, he did have some merit to what he was saying about you, because that's what you do, though. You do act two-faced, or two-faced rather. You do act two-faced, Anderson. Outside of the, you know, if you're not fighting, you know, you're all happy-go-lucky, you know, playing soccer with your kids and dancing, you know, in your little whatever it is, whatever those little house shoes you got, Tasmanian Devil or whatever. Okay? But it seems like when fight time comes around, recently, you know, you just been taking on this attitude of you know, like you just the shit, pretty much. I mean, I guess you could say because you're the champion, I guess you could say that you are. But dude, there's plenty of guys out here. I know there's guys out here that can beat you, Anderson. Like, really, it's guys out here that can beat you. Like, seriously. Personally, I think in the Chael Sonnen fight, I think my man exposed you. Seriously, though. Now, all your fans can, you know, defend you and try to make you feel secure and everything, saying that, you know, you had an injury and everything. Yeah, we know that. But you weren't injured enough to put on that triangle choke now, were you? I didn't see you walk around holding your ribs, so it must not have been that bad. But you don't want to miss the fight because of your fans. Okay, be that as it may, the bottom line is, though, it's guys out here that's better than you, Anderson. Seriously. You're a great fighter, don't get me wrong. You're a great fighter, but there's guys out here that's a lot greater than you are. Seriously. It's just that the UFC hasn't signed them yet, or hasn't taken the time out to go look for them. But it's guys out here that can beat you, Anderson. Seriously. And Vitor, I believe, is one of those guys. Tell you the truth. And I'm not saying this because I'm only a Vitor fan. I'm saying this because if you look at it stylistically, it's kind of true. Like, he's quicker than you. He has just as good a hand speed as you do. He's just as well rounded as you are. And he can end fights. So, you know, pretty much like, you know, the little slogan for this event says, I think you have met your match. Not only physically, but psychologically as well. Because from what I saw from you, even though your ego won't let you admit it, but humanly, what I saw from you at that stare down, I seen a man that was desperate. I see a man that's worried. And I see a man that's insecure. And do you know why you're feeling this way, Anderson? I'm going to tell you why you're feeling this way. You're feeling this way because finally there's somebody that's come along that people are talking about that you don't have a lopsided advantage over. There's a guy out there that people believe in and that people are talking about that can knock out people just as fast as you can, that is just as quick as you are, and has a similar skill set like you. And you know what? That makes you worry. That makes you worry, doesn't it, Anderson? Yeah, I know it does. But see, you're not going to be the one to admit that, though. Like Vitor said, you're still going to keep wearing that mask of insecurity and desperation. Yeah. You finally met somebody that can break that ego down, that can crush it. I mean, sure, Ed Soros is not going to admit it either, but Ed Soros knows deep in his human heart of hearts that Vitor can beat you, Anderson. He knows that. He knows it. And you know it too. That's why you're up here pulling all these little childish, immature antics. You're a 35-year-old man, dude. You got 6 kids and a wife. And you sitting up here acting like this. What type of example are you setting for them? Huh? You think your little boy, you don't think he's, watching this? I mean, sure, he's overwhelmed because you're his father, you're Anderson Silva. You're one of the most popular, or one of the least popular at the same time, fighters in the UFC right now. Sure, he's overwhelmed by this. Sure, he's not going to tell you this right now because he's still young. But I guarantee you when he's older, he's going to remember this. So this is going to be the type of example you're going to set for him? Come up here and act immature, not have talking to the media, acting two-faced, trying to intimidate people when you know that's not what you do. And you're supposed to be this quote-unquote humble martial artist. Psh. Yeah, that's a bunch of baloney. That's a lot of baloney that Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg are feeding these people. Because I saw the change. I saw the change in the Patrick Cote fight. And then it lingered on in the Tyler Slater's fight. Then it lingered on into the Damian Maia fight. But when you met up with Chael Sonnen, though, that's when we really saw you break. Just like Chael Sonnen said, you may have submitted him and you may have won the match, but deep down inside, Chael got the best of you, Anderson. He may not have been able to outmatch you. He may not have been able to triumph over you physically, but psychologically, he got you, man. I mean, if he didn't get inside your head, why would you go over there and bow at his feet at the end of the fight? Why? Because you were trying to show him respect? Nah, man. I know what you were really trying to say. You were really trying to say, you know what? You got me. And you almost had me. But you know what? I was smart enough to pull something out at the last split second. That's really what your body language was telling Chael. And I believe if Chael would have fought you again, I think he would have beaten you. Tell you the truth. Because, frankly, he almost did. And he exposed you, man. You got exposed. You don't handle pressure well. If you get hit too many times, well, pretty much you don't handle pressure well. And if somebody puts pressure on you, you leave yourself vulnerable. That's why you got tagged so many times by Chael Sonnen. Standing up, I might add. You're supposed to be the world's most lethal striker, right? But you're going to let this Greco-Roman wrestler, who people think has no striking ability at all, except me and probably a few other people that I know, outstrike you. And you're supposed to be this lean, mean Muay Thai machine. But you got popped. Not once, but twice. Then got taken down repeatedly. Now, if you're supposed to be the world's best striker, you were supposed to have been took Chael Sonnen out. But guess what? You didn't. Why? Because it got in your head. And, you know, I dare say this time around, Vitor has too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing the stuff that you're doing. You're acting more like the challenger, Anderson. You're not acting like a champion. Because a real champion would have been cool, calm, collected, would have stared him down, and that would have been it. But no, you're acting like how Vitor should be acting. Vitor is carrying the attitude of a champion. He's calm, cool, and collected. He ain't worried about a thing. And I don't blame him for talking back at you. I would have too. You know, you come up here and you pull all this high school stuff, wearing a mask and getting up in his face. That tells me right there that you're scared. Why you got to put a mask over your face, man? I don't care if you were trying to get back at him. And really, why are you trying to get back at him anyway? That's ignorant. You know, for somebody that's supposed to be real humble and stuff, you sure are acting real ignorant lately. And it's not cool. Now all your little buddies over there at Black House, they might entertain that, but I don't. Ed Soros, he might entertain it, but I don't. And Vitor doesn't either, and nobody else is. You know, you got some people that's coming along now that's not gonna stand for your crap, Anderson. Because really, tell you the truth, dog, you don't really intimidate anybody. You might be 6'2" and probably can, you know, knock people out and have all these skills and everything, but bro, like seriously, if you came to America and you went on the street trying to act hard, I'm trying to tell you, man, somebody would knock you out. And it wouldn't be no MMA fight either. It'd be what you call a street fight. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you probably had your share of those, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're hard. Anyway, bottom line is Vitor is getting in your head because you know that this guy has all the capability in the world of beating you, and you can't stand it. That's gonna make you sleep miserable tonight. But anyway, I won't be surprised if Vitor takes your crown because I think he can. And don't you be either. And I guarantee you, if Vitor does take your crown, you'll know next time. Peace.